So 5 kids. We like to do a dad tip of the week on here. I'm sure you have lots. Can you give me and other dads out there a dad tip?
Well, my dad tip, I think I tried to think about like what could I possibly suggest that hasn't already been suggested before by much greater dads than myself. And I think I've kind of gotten into this habit where my youngest boys, especially right now, and younger kids tend to think they have it figured out in terms of like, I don't want to go to bed. I want to watch a movie. And so I've kind of adopted this thing where within reason, I will let them execute their plan, but I will preempt it with like, well, if we watch a movie, chances are, I have a 9-year-old who's so ornery in the morning if he hasn't gotten enough sleep. And I said to him, Nolan, if we watch this movie, chances are you're going to be tired and grumpy in the morning, but it's up. I mean, I guess I'll let you decide, and I'll stay up with you and I'll watch this movie. And so, one time he did, and he woke up the next morning. I'm trying to get him awake, and he was not having it. And I told him in that moment, I'm like, hey, you wanted this. Remember, this is something that you wanted. Now, I think within reason, I don't think it's one of those things where it's like, I want to ride down this hill without a helmet on. At some point, you got to kind of like balance that. But it definitely, he kind of agreed that, that was too late to stay up and watch a movie on a school night. And so now he polices himself a little bit. And I've tried to adopt that a little bit. I think when my kids say that, sometimes I'll ask them like, when you're a parent, what will you do differently than, what mom and dad do? And sometimes some really good suggestions come out of that. And sometimes, usually it's, I have a vending machine that's free, that's full of candy that I can get anytime I want. It's something unrealistic, but sometimes the feedback is really worthwhile, and their opinions it also helps them feel like their opinions are valid and that they're being listened to. And so, I try as much as I can to kind of let them have a say or insert their own parenting tips into their own upbringing within reason again. So we have a pretty open relationship, and our communication really good in that regard. And I think making sure that they know that their opinions and their feelings are valid is something that my dad always taught me growing up, and my mom as well. And I think it's good to kind of keep that trend alive in my family.
Yeah, that's great. Asking them questions. I listened to James Altucher. He's got teenage daughters, and he's got this big stance about he really didn't want them to go to college because he kind of doesn't believe in the model anymore. And they ended up going, but he would have these really tough conversations, and he would use this trick that he said, where he said, because she would just stonewall him when he started talking about it. But the trick that he used was, if you were me, how would you suggest we talk about, your future plans, or you going to college, and like empowering her. And it like got her talking about it. And he's like, even though I lost that battle, she went to college, and, but he's like, now it will open the door. So when they're older, maybe, and they have real issues, that maybe they'll come to him. So he says, right, putting it in their corner. And how would you do this if you were the parent? I'm going to start using that too.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And I think, with my daughter who's now in college, and she does dance, and I think dance was a big motivator for her to go to college. But she also is getting fantastic grades. But I think this kind of trend of us really having these honest conversations about, what she doesn't like or does like about what I'm doing to parent her, has really created this open dialogue between us. And now that she's in college, we talk like we're old friends, and I really love it. It makes me feel like a better dad than I really am. And it also helps me to feel like I'm involved in her life and know what's going on, because she's not afraid to talk to me about some of those things.